Yo, what's going on, man? Taped another episode of the Ten Toes Down podcast last night. Um, was thinking about that, just thinking about this morning, and I was actually thinking about the game last night itself. It was a great game, and I'm thinking about the reaction of it. And honestly, it's so crazy that I mean, you heard so many conspiracy theories about the NBA pushing the. I mean, in a way, it almost makes you glad that it's hard to say this. It's almost like '94 if the Knicks had beaten Houston. In my mind, as a teenager back then, I thought pretty much, well, if we win this finals, nobody would give us credit because it wasn't against Jordan. Even though Akeem ultimately had proven to be a bad mamma jamma, those 2 years, those 3 or 4 years, Akeem was like top 2, 3 players on the planet. But it wasn't like he had a lot of great help on that team. Like as far as he actually had a pretty good team. But anyway, we wouldn't have got credit. Oh, you didn't beat Jordan. It would have been always like, oh, you got a championship, but you didn't beat Jordan. And again, I was one of those guys that said I knew that the Knicks would get Jordan one of these years. And unfortunately, I think our best chance was probably 97, 98. 98, 99, he was gone. I would have loved to see Jordan's Bulls, them run it back, and the Knicks played Jordan Bulls in the conference finals with Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston. Obviously, we didn't have no Ewing. We would have had to go with Marcus Camby, in the rest. Larry Johnson and them at the 5 and 4 position. But I still think the Knicks would have represented very well and probably beaten the Bulls in '99. That's my feeling. That's still my feeling. But then this year, you would have had the narrative that, oh, look, the league cheated. Even though, like, evidence to the contrary, there was so many freaking blown calls that went against the Knicks. You didn't, that it's ridiculous to believe that that the league was trying to push the Knicks into the finals just to get more of a buzz or whatever. And unfortunately, like, here it is, I am me being the NBA fan. This is why I say when I talk to a lot of people about NBA basketball, I can tell I'm not an NBA fan. I'm a basketball fan, NBA fan, Knicks fan. Then I'm a fan of whatever player I love. That's the order. I love the sport first. And it seems to me that a lot of these NBA fans, casual NBA fans, and a lot of them are the ones that claim to be diehard, that claim to be knowledgeable NBA fans. A lot of you folks really aren't, and that's why you need people to talk in your ear about what's what. I noticed that. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing, look, people won't hear this. I will repeat this one day. But this is one of the reasons I'm doing content. Because I think a lot of people really need to learn the actual game. Then they need to learn the actual NBA and its history. You know what I'm saying? Then you need to pick a team and stay with it. And that's my opinion. All right, if you're gonna pick a player, stay with the player for the time he's in and pick another player. But I want you guys that pick players to get on the player from the beginning. Like, when he's in the AAU, get on it. Don't wait till he's in the NBA and then become a superstar and start glazing him. Because that's what happens too. And then it's like, bro, your favorite player, I knew about him in his game and I knew about the buzz before you did. Now, most of us, we all knew about LeBron. LeBron was pushed so early, pretty much after his sophomore year in high school, we knew he was the next big thing. They said this guy is going to make you forget about Jordan. They said this. I remember this. going into his junior year. And at that point, ESPN started televising all their games for his last 2 years of high school. Okay? This is why we know who that kid Joyce was. Okay? Because those games were nationally televised on ESPN. If you had cable, you was watching Mount St. Vincent St. Mary's High School, the Fighting Irish, with LeBron James and the crew. Okay? So, again, my deal is, like I said, know the game first. And a lot of NBA fans and a lot of casual fans don't know the game. And I say this because here you had a great game last night. But nobody, I'm listening to Carcino's panel because I got there too late. Carcino had dropped off and was just letting the guys talk amongst themselves. Bro, LB, Outlaw, Christian, Parks, all y'all cats. All of y'all to a man said y'all barely watched the game. And they were in there talking about the Knicks. So Carcino, again, this was crazy. His subject was alive, reacting to the game. So all these guys that I'm really talking about, I get it. Even I didn't pick up the game until the second quarter. Like it wasn't priority for me to watch the beginning of that game and watch all 48 minutes. But I watched it, and I'm sure a lot of people tuned in as they heard that Indiana was making a comeback. So maybe a lot of people saw the Halliburton shot live. And if that's pretty much what you saw the Indiana closeout. You are of the mindset that Halliburton had a great game, which he didn't. Again, before that shot, he had 12 points, while his counterpart had 38. And now you're going to think, well, that means because he's a real point guard. No. He was terrible. They had 19 turnovers in the first half. I was freaking shocked. That's more than Knicks had too many turnovers from Montes, and we didn't have that. I think that was a record in an NBA Finals for most turnovers in a half by a team. Has to be. 19 is wild. Now, to their credit, they only had 5 in the second half, which, obviously evened out the pace. I don't know if OKC turned down the defensive intensity, and that pretty much would let. Funny part is, it was a 10-point game most of the game. 10 points, 13 points. It never got higher than that. Never got higher than like 16, I believe. And so, it's like, again, for everybody on that panel, and a lot of people said they didn't watch the game. Me and CW, I was actually doing a live reaction to the game. The few that came into my chat on my live stream came in and watched the game. We were watching. I made the Halliburton call. I was asking, am I a decent play-by-play guy? Should I put in a resume? Should I put in my resume to try to call announcing games? Should I try to apply for one of these radio gigs, announcing games, and maybe one day I'll get on TV? I don't know. But anyway, it really is a crazy thing how you got two great teams here. You got fascinating stuff, but this is the issue with the NBA. They have to sell themselves as entertainment because, bro, y'all guys don't appreciate good basketball. The average NBA fan just doesn't appreciate. They appreciate headlines and they tell you who to care about. You don't like, even with the Halle band stuff, right? The guy that took out the Knicks. Nobody, it was like, I want to see what the ratings were, but y'all couldn't. Again, we did shows all week. What's wrong with the NBA fan? And I'm going to blame the fan on this. I'm not going to blame Silver. I'm not going to blame anybody else involved but the NBA fan, because the NBA, well, you know what I'm going to do? I am also going to blame the networks. Because again, The networks has not done. They have not sold you the Pacers and the Halliburton story correctly. You know, the Knicks are clown because, oh, how could you lose to the Pacers? But if you look, the Pacers have been a good team for a while. Are they a great team? No, I still don't think they're a great team. OKC has a chance to be one of the all-time great teams, and that was a monumental choke last night. I mean, say call it what you want, because again, Chet Holmgren, who had 6 points and 6 rebounds for the game, blew a layup. And he played the majority of the game while a guy with 9 and 9, Isaiah Hartenstein, who was the second highest paid player on that team, played 17 minutes. As I sing the praises of Coach Mark Daigneault, how does that happen? You know, I know he might not necessarily be the best matchup for Turner. I guess maybe. Well, Turner was taken out of the game in crunch time. You know, you gave up offensive rebounds. You were lucky. Obviously they challenged that play. It was a bad challenge, but you should have secured the rebound and waited for a foul, or been able to take more off the clock. Now they were able to do it. They were able to do it. And they got the shots they wanted. SGA to the basket. A couple shots before that, Jalen Williams to the basket. They put the ball in the hands of their best players. But you know, I mean, being neither here nor there, the idea that, again, you know, it's hard to blame the fans. You gotta make them. You gotta make them appreciate what they're watching. You know, again, if this finals goes on, maybe it will sell itself. But there was no buzz for Game 1, and now, you know, again, I'm hearing Knicks Fan TV talk about how Adam Silver put in the call that, well, if you guys are gonna fire Tibbs, can you make a favor and fire him now so we got something to talk about? Basically, giving the NBA the stage because they know it's hard to promote this finals. And see, this is the problem. This is the problem. This is the ultimate problem. This is going to lead to alleged impropriety, especially with NBC. Now, don't get me wrong. NBC, I believe, is going to do a much better job of covering. But I believe NBC wigs are going to too. Look, we want this star, we want that star. Now, what NBC does is they always hedge their bet because they were good at promoting whatever star, like on Phoenix, on these other teams. Like Phoenix wasn't a big market back then. Now Phoenix got over 1 million people. But back in the 90s, they were a growing city, but it wasn't the hugest market in the world. You still wanted LA over Phoenix. You understand what I'm saying? Now Phoenix can draw from the Vegas market, the whole nine. It's like two places care. The Midwest, the cornfield, and the die-hard basketball fans. You know, again, I'm a die-hard basketball fan. I wasn't at again, I can watch the game without stress because my team isn't in it. But I can watch the game from an objective standpoint. I can tell you what happened. You talk to a lot of guys about last night's game who call themselves great NBA fans. They didn't watch it. And you can tell they even admitted not to watching it. I ain't watched that game at all. Wow. But you click the link on YouTube, then you started talking about the Knicks. And again, it's a Knicks for clicks type of thing. Like, the negativity around the Knicks sells so much. And it is what it is. Again, I say this, the Knicks have to be undeniable next year. We have to grab the bull by the horns and show motherfuckers we mean business. Because Boston has gotten it together, but they're going to be mediocre next year. They're going to have to break up that team. They're going to have to develop other guys. No Jason Tatum. You can't trade him, and he's going to sit there. Jaylen Brown, you got to seriously consider trading him. So Boston is going to have a fall off next year, considerably. And the Knicks are in the driver's seat to become an elite team. So that being that, the subject of this really, really pretty much the crux of this video is why is it hard selling NBA fans good basketball? Like last night was, outside of the turnovers, you had good run offensive teams for what today's NBA is. You had two great teams, two powerhouse offenses. Two great, two good coaches, very good coaches, and a classic ending. It just amazed me how everybody in the world was all of a sudden Pacers fans, and nobody wants to watch them in the finals. And again, this is not losers lament. I can accept what happened, but it's like are the superstars not sexy enough? And that's what it is. That's what it is. It's like you guys root for superstars, but you root for who they tell you superstars are. Now I get SGA's game is a little, when it comes to the foul baiting, it becomes a little, much of a term. But SGA is a terrific 3-level scorer. He's a terrific all-around player. He didn't do too much foul baiting last night. He had 2 chances to put that game away. He didn't get fouled. He didn't do the foul baiting. He tried to actually score. That's what I appreciate. If you get fouled over the course of trying to actually score, then I'm happy with it. A lot of people say, well, Jalen Brunson will do the stop thing, and that's the foul bait. Yeah, you're right. But Jalen Brunson is doing that to get an and one. I appreciate that over, okay, I see I'm in a predicament here. Let me sell this little minimal contact and then throw something up at the basket. Because I know that, and that's the deal. That's the difference. Harden and FCA were guilty of that. I'm guilty of that a lot. But you got 2 great teams. I was learning more about OKC as I was watching the game. Again, a lot of these guys have been in the league 2-3 years. They have the second youngest team in NBA Finals history. You got to go back to 1955. This is pre-Russell. Russell came the next year, 56, 57. He came 2 years after that. 2 seasons. So, look. You gotta. I don't know. How do you sell it? Who you blame? You can't blame the fans for not being interested in what. But I've just come to learn a lot of the people who claim to be diehard NBA fans and NBA fans, they're casuals, and they're casuals. They're not even basketball fans. They're casual NBA fans, and they don't know much about basketball. So that's why I'm in these streets, man. Those that want to talk about basketball, those that want to know about basketball, those that are interested in the NBA, its history, basketball in general. I'm in here to try to get. I'm not the greatest player in the world. I'm not the biggest expert in the world. People who are expert, but I think I have a combination of everything, plus a good keen insight, plus I'm knowledgeable, and that's really my mission statement, man. Like I said, I'm not going to be up here. Again, I have a little bit of comedy. I can sit there and, I can crack some jokes. I can make fun of ironic situations and shit like that. But I also have a serious mind for the game. I have a serious understanding for the game. A lot of people don't. And I'm not there to condescend people or nothing like that. But I think, if you're going to spend time talking about and watching this game, just do a better job of it. And they should do a better job of selling you this game. Because that was done in the must-see TV Michael Jordan era. That's why we have all these damn crazy debates today. That's why people are impressed by the great physical ability yet poor technical ability of a LeBron James and a lot of these players. That's why. There's a lot to be desired in the basketball knowledge department. There's a lot to be desired in the basketball understanding department. And so you're sold that these numbers mean everything. And if you get the numbers, you're a great player. So I'm going to end it here and, see you guys later.